in China is leftover women. Big difference. It refers to women who are considered by Chinese standards to be too old to marry.
Chip Reid is in Beijing, where attention to these women is suddenly growing. Chip, good morning.
Well, good morning to you. You know, in many parts of the world, there have long been discussions over the appropriate age to get married. But what's surprising here in China is that a woman can find herself labeled a leftover woman as young as 25. At a book party in Beijing, American author Joy Chen offered dating advice for Chinese women.
Presenting how awesome and impressive we are at work might not be the best way to impress a man.
Chen, a former deputy mayor of Los Angeles and a successful businesswoman, is the author of the Chinese language book, Do Not Marry Before Age 30, in which she urges women to pursue their careers while postponing marriage. But that can be a risky strategy in China, where single women over 30 and even in their mid to late 20s can find themselves branded as leftover women.
Explain to me what it is like for a Chinese woman to be a leftover woman.
When they go to work, people call them leftovers to their face.
Chen says these women are trapped between the present and thousands of years of Chinese history.
So 31 and not married, you're over the hill.
Is like a complete travesty, you know, and these women are just women who've been playing by the rules, achieving as they've been taught to achieve since they were little, you know, getting great grades, going off to great schools, getting great jobs.
Then in their mid-20s, Chen says, the rules change.
And then suddenly it's like, bam-o, wham. No, don't achieve. You don't want to scare the boys. You know, slow down and jump back into your traditional roles as a wife and a mother.
The problem is that's not easy. Catherine Zhou spent her 20s and early 30s working on her career. Now 35, she says she can't get a date, much less a husband. Chinese men, she says, want younger, more subservient wives.
Maybe younger girl is more naive and easygoing.
She says many men find her intimidating.
I'm quite independent. Maybe this is also one of the reasons the person is afraid to be with me.
Catherine says she learned those qualities from her parents. Until she finds a husband, she's living with them, which means she feels constant pressure from her mother, who says at this point she'd be happy if Catherine married a frog.
Do they tell you you're too picky?
Sure. They think I'm too picky.
They do?
Yeah.
Catherine says she's only interested in finding true love.
I believe there's still somebody waiting for me. We're just looking for each other. We just miss the way.
But as a leftover woman, she worries it might be too late at the ripe old age of 35. Now, not surprisingly, the women we talked to said they find the term leftover women insulting and hurtful and offensive, and they say it's made worse by the fact that the Chinese government has adopted the term as an official part of the Chinese language. Charlie and Gail?
Boy, you sure can't understand that, why they would feel insulted by that. The Chinese government is going to do what about this?
Well, the Chinese government really doesn't do much about it, but there are schools all around the country, and certainly most schools are supported by the government, but it's really, I think, an effort that's being led locally to try to teach women what they need to do. In fact, there's a course in Shanghai that's called Leftover Women Rescue.
Wow. Gosh, Chip, that phrase leftover women, I have to say, is so hard to hear. And when you were talking to Catherine, you guys, yeah, it's hard. You talked about being too picky. What exactly does that mean, being too picky?
Well, I talked to Joy Chen about that, the author you just saw in the piece, and she said one problem here and one way women may be at fault is that this may be a communist country, but people are very focused on money and income, and she said there are many Chinese women, especially here in the urban areas, especially professional women, who won't even consider marrying a man who doesn't have money.
All right, Chip, fascinating story. Thank you so much.